Hi, welcome. In this session, I am going to discuss about the unit chemical kinetics. We have come across different chemical reactions in our previous studies, where some of the reactions are fast reactions, explosive reactions, and some more reactions are slow reactions, just like rusting of iron. How these changes happen, why some reactions are fast, why some reactions are slow, and what are the different factors that may affect the speeds of these reactions. All these things we are going to study in this unit, chemical kinetics. The definition is the branch of chemistry which deals with the study of rates of reactions and factors affecting the rates of reactions. So here we have a new word, rate. In chemistry, this word rate refers to the speed of reaction. Some reactions are fast and some reactions are slow, as I said earlier. Now, we are going to discuss what is the meaning of rate of a reaction, and later we will see what are the different methods of finding rates of reactions. Well, the meaning of the word rate is change in property with respect to time. It may be any property. If it is changing with respect to time, we say that as rate. If the change is very high, it is fast, and if the change is very slow, then it is a slow reaction. Rate of a reaction means change in concentration with respect to time. So the property that changes during a reaction is nothing but the concentration. If I consider a simple representation of a reaction like R gives P, R refers to reactant, P refers to product. If the reaction is at the beginning, let us say the time is 0, that is at the starting point of reaction, the reactant quantity or concentration will be maximum when time is 0. Let us consider the amount of reactant initially as 1 kg. Now when this is 1 kg, since the reaction not yet has started, the amount of product will be 0. If the time is 10 minutes, that is after an interval of 10 minutes, what do you expect? The amount of reactant, will it remain as 1 kg? Will it increase or decrease? Obviously, since this is a reactant, the amount of reactant decreases. That means, let us say, after 10 minutes, this has reduced to 900 gram. Suppose 100 gram reactant has reacted, the remaining amount of reactant will be 900 gram. Now the product amount will increase. Let's say it is 100 gram. So in this case, it is very clear that the amount of reactant decreases as the time is increasing or as the time progresses. But at the same time, there is an increase in the amount of product. It was 0 and it has increased to 100 gram. So at a point there will be decrease in the concentration, at some other point there will be increase in the concentration. Whatever, there is a change in concentration during the reaction. So change of rate of reaction is change in concentration of a reactant or product with respect to time, will be the correct definition. Mathematically, rate can be represented as change in concentration over time. Since concentration has a unit mole per liter, which is a standard unit of concentration, otherwise we may call it as molarity also, and in denominator we have time, so this is second. Hence the overall standard unit of rate of reaction will be mole per liter per second. This is the standard unit of rate of reaction. Now let us consider a representation of a balanced chemical equation. Here I have capital A, capital B as reactants with their respective number of moles, small letter A, small letter B. Capital C, capital D are the products with their number of moles, small letter C, small letter D. Now for this balanced chemical equation, how to represent the rate? Let's see. First, for the reactant A will be change in concentration of A with respect to time, that is dt. Here, this is a small change in concentration of A, that is reactant, in a small interval of time dt. So dA by dt represents the rate with respect to A. Also, this will be for A number of moles. Now, if I want for 1 mole, it must be divided by A. So 1 by A dA by dt will be the rate with respect to A. Now there is an additional point to remember here. Since there is a decrease in amount of A as it is a reactant, we have to represent that decrease using the sign minus. Minus 1 by A dA by dt. Here minus is not included in any calculation. Only to represent the decrease of concentration we use minus. Now similar to that, the rate with respect to B will be minus 1 by B d of B by dt. Now for the product, as the product concentration increases with time, it is represented as 1 by C d of capital C by dt, which is equal to 1 by d of capital D by dt. Here this small letter d is number of moles, this is the change. Okay, do not cancel them. This is the expression to calculate rate of reaction with respect to each reactant and product. Now, using the same data, we explain the rate of reaction graphically. Let us see how the concentration of reactant varies with time and product varies with time. As we knew, reactant concentration will be maximum when the time is 0. So I will consider that amount as R0 or let's say R0. Now as the time progresses, there will be decrease in the reactant concentration, which is represented by an exponentially decreasing curve. This is not a linear curve, as there will not be a linear decrease of concentration with time. There will be an exponential decrease. Now at a point t, let us say some time t or t dash, at this point of time what is the rate? It is determined by drawing a perpendicular to the curve at that point of time, then find out or determine the tangent's slope. So slope of the tangent is given as y by x. There is concentration of reactant versus time, let's say dt. Now this is a line sloping downward, which will have a negative slope. Since the slope mathematically has a negative value, to compensate it, we will introduce a minus here, so that minus and minus they get cancelled, or let us say minus into minus plus. So slope gives you the rate with respect to reactant. Then on the other side, product. At the time 0, that is at the beginning of the reaction, the amount of product will be 0. There will not be any product, as we saw earlier. As the time progresses, there will be an exponential increase in the concentration of product. Now for the same point t dash, at the point t dash, the rate of reaction will be obtained by drawing a perpendicular to the curve, and at the point of contact draw a tangent, determine its slope. Slope is given as concentration of product, which is on y-axis, by time dt, which is same as the rate of reaction. And here no need to introduce any minus, as the slope of this line is positive. It has a upward inclination, so rate is positive. Now let's see what is law of mass action. Law of mass action is a concept which gives you an idea of rate of reaction. This is another method of expressing the rate of reaction. Let's see. The rate of a reaction is directly proportional to the product of active masses of reactants. Here, active masses means nothing but the molar concentration of reactants. Active masses, in other words, can also be said as the amount of reactant participating during the reaction. So, law of mass action says the rate is directly proportional to the product of active masses of reactants. Let me consider the similar example again. A times A plus B times B gives products. I am not worried about products because the statement is nowhere mentioning any concept of products. The word product here says multiplication. It is not the product of reaction. So, according to the statement, rate of this reaction will be directly proportional to molar concentration of A raised to the power of its own coefficient into molar concentration of B raised to its coefficient power. So, the representation here, the concentration term here is nothing but the active mass. So, whenever we are writing the rate expression using a balanced equation, we must remember that concentration has to be raised by a power same as its coefficient. So, this is a rate expression. Now, I will reduce this to an equation where I will change this inequality to equation using equal symbol equal to into a to the power a b power b, where the small letter k is called rate constant. It is used as a constant for this inequality. Still we call it as rate constant. Now we have to understand what is rate constant. Let us see. Rate constant K. Let us see the details of K. For the reaction, same reaction, A times A, B times B giving products, I have used law of mass action and I have got the equation rate equals K into A power A, B power B. Now, on cross multiplying A power A and B power B to LHS, I get K equals rate over the concentrations of reactants. Let us assume that these two concentrations are equal to 1 mole per liter. If concentration of A, that is reactant A, reactant B, are 1 mole per liter, then what remains is K equals rate. So, using this concept, we can define what is rate constant of a reaction. See, rate constant is the rate of reaction when the concentrations of reactants are unity, are 1 mole per liter. Rate constant is the rate of reaction when the molar concentrations of reactants are unity. The next concept is molecularity. Followed by that, we will see what is order of reaction also. So, molecularity and order. These two can be defined using law of mass action only. So, I am going to consider once again the same representation. A times A, B times B gives products. And I will use law of mass action. And I will get rate equals K into A power A, B power B. The step is very simple here, that molecularity is equal to A plus B. That's all. That's all. There are two definitions for molecularity, very simple definitions. Using the balanced equation itself, we may define what is molecularity. Let me explain. Molecularity is the sum of number of moles of reactants in a balanced chemical equation. This is a balanced chemical equation. Let us suppose in a balanced chemical equation, the sum of coefficients of reactants itself is molecularity. But order is not same as molecularity for all reactions. There are certain reactions for which the molecularity and order are same. Anyway, using the definition of this statement, let us define what is molecularity using this mathematical statement. Molecularity is the sum of powers of concentration terms in the rate equation determined from a balanced chemical equation. The sum of powers of concentration terms in the rate equation obtained from balanced chemical equation. This is the definition of molecularity of a reaction. Now in case if the experimentally collected information is different from our assumption or our theoretical explanation, then we may have a different rate equation. So experimentally we have obtained that rate is k into a power x and b power y. These two x and y are different from a and b. Anyway, a and b have been determined from balanced equation, but x and y we have obtained after doing the experiment. So in this case, the sum of powers of these concentration terms will be called order. So there is a small difference between molecularity and order. Molecularity is theoretically calculated. Order can be said only after conducting the experiment and collecting data from it. So order is the sum of powers of concentration terms in the experimentally determined rate equation. Molecularity was theoretically determined using law of mass action, but order is experimentally determined and calculated. Let's see one example to explain the molecularity and order of a reaction. I have chosen this reaction. H2 plus Cl2 gives 2HCl. Theoretically, if I apply law of mass action, I will get this rate expression or rate equation. Rate equals K into H2 power 1 Cl2 power 1, as the coefficients of H2 and Cl2 are 1 and 1. So this will be the rate equation. Just by observing the equation we may write this. Now from this equation I can decide that molecularity is 2. Simply 1 plus 1 is 2. Let us collect some data theoretically. Let us not perform any experiment. Directly from the equation let's write something. If concentration of H2 is 1 unit, Cl2 is 1 unit, let us call the rate as K, because here H2 becomes 1, Cl2 becomes 1 and rate becomes K. Now suppose I increase the amount of H2 to 2, let's double it and retain Cl2 as 1 itself. Then what happens to the rate? See, if H2 has become 2 and Cl2 has become 1, then rate is equal to 2K. Same will be the case if H2 is maintained 1 and Cl2 maintained as 2 units, we get the rate as 2K. Suppose I increase H2 and Cl2 both 2 times, twice. Now in this case it will be 2 into 2 and K, therefore the rate must increase to 4K. So understand the difference here. Initially the rate was K. When H2 was doubled, it increased to 2K, which means rate got doubled. When Cl2 is doubled, rate got doubled. When both H2 and Cl2 are doubled, rate has increased 4 times. This is the data that we understand from the concept of molecularity. We assume that this would happen experimentally also. Now let's see what happens experimentally. Let's consider H2 in a container or a cylinder. Since it is a gas, let me say cylinder of H2, and chlorine is also a gas. Let's have another cylinder, Cl2, and let us have an arrangement where H2 and Cl2, both the gases are diffused to a common point, and may the reaction happen between H2 and Cl2 at this point. And let us say that HCl formed is collected here in the container. If this is the case, there is one small condition that we have forgotten. When we do experiment, H2 and Cl2 do not react to that extent if we allow them to react directly. If there is availability of diffused sunlight on this, when there is diffused sunlight falling on the reactant mixture, then the reaction happens. So in that case, if I increase the amount of H2 to double the quantity, if it is doubled, can we expect any increase in the speed of reaction? Actually no, because the reaction is depending upon the diffused sunlight and not on the amount of H2. Similarly, when the amount of chlorine is doubled, there will not be any change. There is no change in the speed of reaction because the speed is depending on the amount of light falling on the reactant mixture, not on how much you have in your cylinder. So H2 on increasing rate did not change. Cl2 on increasing rate did not change. So experimentally, I may write a rate equation in a new manner, that is R is equal to K into H2 power 0 Cl2 power 0. Why 0? Because on doubling concentration of H2 I did not get any change in rate. So rate is not depending on H2 power 0. Rate is not even depending on Cl2. So Cl2 power 0. It is very similar to the queue and counter. Suppose there is only one counter issuing the tickets. If there is a queue before that, then it does not depend how many are standing in the queue. It depends on how many counters are there. Similarly, it depends on the amount of light falling, not on the amount of H2 or Cl2. So the sum of the powers of these two reactants now is 0, which is order of reaction. So this is the difference between molecularity and order. When you look at the equation and calculate the data, collect the data, it's called molecularity. If you perform the experiment and understand what happens to the rate, it is called order. So molecularity is theoretical, order is experimental. Now let's see some of the differences between molecularity and order. Molecularity is sum of coefficients of reactants. Order is sum of powers of concentration terms in experimental rate equation. These two are the definitions of molecularity and order respectively. The second difference is this is a theoretical value. Order is an experimental value. Molecularity can never be 0. You cannot write any equation, a balanced equation with no coefficients or 0 coefficients of reactants. So molecularity can never be 0. But order can be 0. Just now we saw the example of HCl, which is a 0 order reaction. Molecularity cannot be a fraction. It cannot be a fraction. Like we cannot have half moles, half molecule, quarter molecule, etc. While writing the equation for formation of H2O, we may say H2 plus half O2 gives H2O. But that doesn't mean the half given there is a fraction. It is actually half mole, not half molecule. So there is a clarity between mole and molecule. Molecularity cannot be a fraction, but order can be a fraction. This is obtained from balanced equation, molecularity, whereas order is obtained from rate determining step. What is rate determining step? I would like to give one small example. There are reactions of two types. One is a single step reaction, which we call as elementary reaction. And there are complex reactions, where a complex reaction involves several steps in it. Out of the steps possible in a complex reaction, whichever is the slowest step, that step is called rate determining step. Now after this we will see what are elementary and complex reactions. Let's see these three concepts: elementary reaction, complex reaction, mechanism of reaction. Elementary reaction is a reaction which takes place in a single step. There is only one step in the reaction. Very simple example like HCl treated with NaOH. There is a direct neutralization of these two substances into NaCl and H2O. So this is a single step reaction. There is no hidden steps in this representation. Such reactions are called elementary reactions. Complex reactions are those which involve more than one step in their mechanism. So if a reaction has more than one single step, we call it as a complex reaction. Let me give an example. So, yeah, now it is balanced. So, this balanced equation is represented in a single step, but it actually involves more than one step. Like in step 1, this reaction takes place like this. One molecule of N2O5 dissociates into NO3 and NO2. Whereas in step 2, the NO3 from step 1 reacts with one more molecule of N2O5 to give 3 NO2 and O2. Among these two steps, the first step is a slow step and the second one is a fast step. If you add these two reactions, you will get back the complex reaction, this reaction. So, this is a complex reaction which involves more than one step in its mechanism. So, what is mechanism? Mechanism is the study of sequence of steps. Mechanism is the study of sequence of steps involved in a complex reaction. So, steps involved in a complex reactions are again elementary reactions. Please remember, step 1 is one elementary reaction. Step 2 is another elementary reaction. If you include all these, it becomes complex reaction. That study is mechanism of reaction. And one small point to include here, the slow step is the rate determining step. Why? Because among all the steps of a complex reaction, the slow step is the one which gets over finally. During a running race, the final contestant decides when the race will be over. Among all the runners, one fellow who runs slow will decide when to complete the race. Likewise, the slow step